and go around the table. We're going to start with Matt Law, Daily Telegraph.
Hiya, Frank. Can you hear me?
Hi, Matt. Gotcha.
Good stuff. Congratulations. Obviously pleased with the result, but the fact you made the 3 changes at half-time and what we've heard from some of the TV interviews, it sounds like you had a few words at half-time for the players.
Yeah. I think the first half wasn't what we're used to in terms of performance this season. I think we've never really we've hardly showed halves or games where we've lacked urgency and intensity in our play. And today we seriously lacked it in the first half. So the 3 subs were probably could have made more or different subs, but I made them for impact to try and inject a bit more urgency, a bit more personality. We needed to drag ourselves out of what was a lethargic performance, and we did do that, to be fair. I can't hear you there. Sorry, Matt.
Sorry, I was just saying you've done well with the substitution since the restart. You've really benefited from using that bench, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I think the individuals that have come on have done well, and we made some changes in both games before this, and individuals have had nice impacts. Today was more of a collective. Of course, if we didn't have the extra subs, I wouldn't make the 3 at half time. But the reason the subs are here is because we're trying to probably prevent injury, and obviously understand that the players have missed a proper serious pre-season. So I suppose a bit of lethargic performance, we can maybe look at the fact that we've had 2 pretty big games in a week, a very difficult game on Thursday. So I'll give the lads a bit of credit on that term, and the fact that they showed enough to turn it around and win a game against a good opposition.
Okay, we've got Ian Bolton, Sky Sports News.
Hello, Frank. Yes, congratulations on a place in the last 4 in the competition. I mean, just how disappointing was that first half for you, though? Where does it kind of rank?
I don't think we played that badly this season for 45 minutes. But we played a lot better than that and lost games, in fact. So as I say, when it looks like I'm criticising, I'm actually positive about the fact that that's not the norm for us. But I felt like it had to be addressed, and as I say, it'll give the players a bit of leeway because of the situation. These are tight turnarounds, and sometimes it's relatively understandable. So I wasn't happy with that. We're not happy with that. The players want to win this game. We knew we needed more. We were fortunate not to be losing at half time, and they delivered more.
Okay, we've got John Cross, please.
Hello, Frank. I hope you can hear me.
Gotcha, John.
Thanks for doing this, and much appreciated. I was just going to say, sometimes you obviously you took off 3 young players. I guess you can't worry about how any effect on them. You have to make the decision for the team.
Yeah, it's certainly that. I could have made different changes as well. And in Mason's situation, he has played 2 games in a week and gave a lot of input against Manchester City for 90 minutes. For Reece James, he hasn't played in a long time since lockdown, and Billy the same. So there are contributing factors around it, and they're going to be top players for this club no matter what. They're going to have top careers in football, like really, really top careers, because of the players they are. So this, whether you can call it a learning experience, I didn't do that. It was just a fact of how I saw the game. And they can take it on board. They're all good lads. They all train well. They've all got great ethic, and they never have a problem with them at all, the 3 of them. So I've got no worries. It was just the circumstances today.
Simon Johnson, Athletic.
Hi, Frank. Just to follow up from that, appreciate all players. You'd like to treat them equally, but given the sort of fragile nature of young players, will you be sort of taking the likes of Billy and Reece aside over the next few days to talk them through perhaps how that first half went and sort of try and point out where they went wrong or went right?
Yeah, I possibly will, Simon. I spoke to them all briefly at half-time and at the end, because it does happen in football. This is what it is. So it's not, sometimes it's a tough game for different reasons, but I will happily speak to them. I've got no problem with them. It certainly doesn't feel an issue where I can say they didn't give me everything for a reason. No, the performance was lethargic for the whole team, and they were part of that. In fact, individually, it's very tough to stand out when a performance is like that anyway. So I'll say that to them, and it's no problem. It's no problem. If it is a bit of a learning one, then fine. As I say, if I had a problem with anyone with attitude and work ethic, I would certainly talk to them about it. I don't have it with them. So it'll be a very brief conversation and we move on. They're going to be big players for us.
Alex, LBC Radio.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Alex.
How much has Ross Barkley learned about professionalism, do you think, since that momentary lapse last November?
Well, I think he's always been. I played with Ross, and I know he's a great lad. He wants to be the best player he can be, and has a great attitude in that sense. So I won't touch on that one. All I'll say is that before we went into lockdown, he put in some really good performances for us just before. His attitude has been spot on in training since the minute we've been back, how he trains, how he looked after himself in lockdown. And he was unfortunate not to start against Villa. And since then, he's made impact in every game he's played. So a great example of when you train at a level, when you have that attitude and when you have the quality that Ross has. He can score goals, he can shoot with both feet, he makes the box. He defended well, he showed great discipline in his game against Manchester City. So he's just reaping the benefits. And I've got lots of time for Ross. He's a big player for us. We saw that today and in the last 3 games.
Alison Budd.
Hi, Frank. I just wondered how much time you've given to analysing how you'd use the new substitutes rule. I mean, 15 years ago, Jose Mourinho used 3 at half-time. As you said, you wouldn't have done that if there hadn't been the 5 sub rule. But have you worked out how to make it, a marginal gain in this? That this wasn't a sudden thing you did. You must have thought about how best can I use the new sub rule.
Yeah, I have, and I'm guessing everybody has. And as I said before, it's there for a bit of protection because we've seen quite a few injuries in the first rounds of games. So it's a protection against that for us. When you look at our squad and we've managed to get a few players fit in this period, so the bench gives me different options. You generally look at your midfield and attacking areas of players that cover a lot of high intensity ground during games that can maybe tie because you haven't had a proper pre-season. So I always have an idea before a game, but the game can always change your mind and give you different problems that you need to find a solution for. And today was one of those. It was one where the 5 subs certainly came in handy, that we could use them and still have 2 more, because when you look at Willian and Pulisic played a lot of minutes the other day at a really high level. Tammy Abraham hasn't played for a long time. So I suppose we're always trying to analyse that and make changes that make us better.
Last question, Nizar Kinsella.
Hi, Frank. I just noted that you substituted Christian Pulisic, and in the broadcast it suggested that he might have a calf problem. I just wanted to ask about that and Andreas Christensen not being included after playing well against City.
Yeah, Christian felt a bit of tightness in his calf, so in the second drinks break, so took him off straight away. We'll find out over the next day or so how that is. Hopefully, it's nothing that puts him out, because we can see what he's doing in the last 2 games. And with Andreas, he had a small problem up around his hip. Tried to train yesterday and didn't feel very comfortable, so he was out of the squad.
Okay, that's it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you all.
Cheers.
Thank you.